Welcome all you tech enthusiasts, you curious minds, and those navigating the electrifying world of bits and bytes. This is 𝐾𝐞𝐬𝐭, the podcast that promises to be your guide through this ever-evolving universe of IT and beyond. We'll be diving deep into the intricacies of IT industry, from market and technology insights, recruitment and career advice, to leadership in digital age. And, of course, a few surprises that go beyond the realms of binary, I hope. So, let's do it. Hi everyone, I'm Adrian Bednarz, and today we're talking about DevOps, and more precisely we're digging into CI CD. And to help me do this, I have some amazing experts with me, hopefully, to help me. Where
are they?
I have Szymon Ziółkowski and I have Michał Łucki-Zieliński. Hi guys, how you doing?
It's great, although good. I'm really looking forward after the lunch and stuff.
Nice, don't fall asleep. Okay, let's talk about DevOps and more precisely CI CD, as I said. But guys, let's start with some introductions maybe. Guys, can you tell us a bit more about yourself? Szymon, do you want to start?
Okay, let's start with the insults, right? Yeah, so welcome everyone. My name is Szymon, and I'm having this nice role that is called Practice Lead of Cloud and DevOps Practice in Poland, in SoftServe. So what I'm doing here, this is, I would say, a multi-role kind of the engagement, so a lot of the different hats on the daily basis.
Nice. And how long you've been in SoftServe for?
Oh, it's going to be a third year this August.
Nice, congrats.
Yeah, it's really flies really fast.
Hey, good for you. Perfect. Michał, what about you?
Yeah, my name is Michał. So in software, I am 1.5 year, I think.
Okay.
And I am technical lead, DevOps engineer.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, I am also a pod lead. So I'm engaged with people in different projects and help them to develop themselves.
Nice. Ah, perfect. Guys, so a quick question, dogs or cats?
I mean,
neither.
Turtles.
Both.
Good.
Hamsters.
Hamsters, fantastic, perfect. All right, so guys, let's dig into actually the essence of this podcast, this episode, CI CD. What is it? What is CI CD? Let's explain this concept.
This is a really interesting question, because I think the more people you will ask, the more different answers you will get.
Yeah.
And because I have a small daughter, so I'm trying to simplify.
Good.
With the description of everything. So in order to describe what is the CI CD, I would say it's like making sure that your Lego bricks are being put in order and in a proper place into the boxes so they can be sold.
Oh, nice. Okay. Good illustration. Perfect.
Or we can do the cars instead of Legos if you want to.
No, I like Legos. I've got small kids as well. Perfect. Michał, do you want to take a shot into explaining what CI CD? First of all, what does it stand for, CI CD?
Yeah, it's continuous integration, continuous deployment.
Perfect.
And the Lego stuff, it's fine as a reference, but it needs to be, I think, extended that it's not only a building, but making sure that what you build is actually what you want to get at the end.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So first of all, it's not a technology, right? It's not. It's a methodology.
There are tools. It is rather the methodology and the way of working. However, of course, it have to be supported by tools, right? But let's leave the tools later, because if we'll fix on the tools, we might run out of time.
It's never finish. Yeah. Perfect, guys. Okay, so actually, why are we talking about it? Why are we talking about CI CD? Why is it an important component of DevOps?
I would say that the reason why we are talking about it is the way how the software is being developed modern times currently. Actually, this is one of the only viable solution out there on the market, right? Okay. So back in the days, I think 2 decades ago, when you were releasing the software, either on for the customers and users whatsoever. So it was normal that you were getting updates or a newer version that were happening, once a year, twice a year. That was really fast, right? But with the development of the new technologies, we're going to talk about the containers itself later on, right? But the ambition to have it done and to decrease the lead time from months, from years, to not months, not weeks, but days and hours, and how quickly to make sure that what our developers have created and how quickly it can be put into the production. This is the reason why the CI CD concept have grown that much, and why it's, I would say, the spine, the backbone of the DevOps, of the modern DevOps.
Okay.
And the SDLC, of course.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I would say it's right now it's possible to deploy, to deliver our solutions every minute. Even there are companies that they are doing that this way. And earlier, to do the same thing, it required like discussion between people and testing on your side. Right now, everything is automated with the integration and delivered in time.
Perfect. So if we would identify some key benefits, then speed of deployment would be one of them.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, the another one that comes to my mind is automatically the automation part.
Yeah.
Right, because I will have to refer to the car industry, right?
Of course.
It is like what the CI CD is doing as a concept is just like having a production lane in a factory, right? So when you're setting this like a production lane and you have everything just in time, you can have like a quite magnificent outcomes, right? So you can build 100 or 1,000 cars during a one day shift, right? So which was not something very common, I think, in the beginning of car industry. Yeah, so that would be it, and I think that would be the easiest way to describe the benefits of the CI CD integrated with the SDLC for what kind of the benefits it brings into the business.
Okay, perfect.
There is a great book that is telling actually, showing and describing what you already told. It's a Phoenix project.
Oh yeah,
and this is.
So I think that this clearly is one of those. If you don't know what the DevOps is, and if you want to read about it in a very funny, lightweight kind of the approach, that's the way, because it describes quite a lot of like the safest word will be imperfections of the organizations and how it's like a finger pointing, silos, teams, and so on and so forth. Right. So
nice, good. Okay, so we've got our first recommendation or advice to the audience, so we can link the title of that book.
Yep.
Description.
Definitely.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Fantastic. So I'm assuming, implementing CI/CD might be a bit challenging. So maybe let's focus on what kind of challenges the organizations typically face when trying to, transition to CI/CD.
I have to.
You have to? You're taking this one?
Yeah, definitely not hijacking the whole topic, but the way how I see this is that it is a very, I would say, common with the open source industry and how some of the emerging trends were incorporated in the organization. So it was very often that this kind of the activities, new solutions, new technologies, they were incorporated from the bottom, right? So that was, I would say, a grassroots movement. Some of the engineers, hey, have you heard about this new feature? Hey, let's try to build this on our own. Let's try to support this. And then you have a shadow IT that becomes a modern IT that becomes the major IT apparently, right? Because the business stakeholders have realized, okay, this is how we can do this. This is how fast we can move forward, right? So I think only now, after if we would say that the DevOps have started in 2004, 2008, something in between, because there's 10 different resources on that, right? So only now, I think the DevOps as a concept and as a way of working is finally maturing, right? So now the large organizations specifically, now they are seeing that, okay, we are past do-it-yourself DevOps. Like, okay, we are going to throw some kind of tools, launch our Blender and make a smooth pass of it, right? So now they are only starting to think it as a production line, as an assembly line. This is how I see it. And this was really interesting to see how some of the core technologies that rise a decade ago that were very popular, that are now obsolete or niche, and you don't want to go there yet or anymore.
Okay, perfect. But it also seems like, from what you're saying, that it's not that difficult to implement or to transition. Is it really?
I would say it is. I would say this. When I was working in the bank years ago, and they had those releases, like you said, Simon, once per year or maybe twice per year, and they wanted to make deployments much more frequently. But during 2 years, they they wasn't able to implement DevOps, so they postponed it many times.
Also, there's this aspect that organizations, either due to like the regulations requirement or by the corporate culture that they have, and they try to implement the DevOps as a way it was working, but just to rebrand it, right? So I've been also like a part of this one of organization that started to implement DevOps, created like the pipelines, yada yada, all of the fancy stuff, created the stages, right? But then what they have done is that they have assigned each of the stages of, for example, the pipelines to a different teams. So there was actually no benefits out of all of implementing it. So it was just from the how they used to work was kind of rebranding it only, but they didn't get all of that. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the cultural one and aspect. The second one, this is my opinion. So you don't have to like to fully agree to that.
We'll judge you for it anyway.
Okay, guilty as charged. So because it started for a lot of the organization from the bottom, right? So they were the engineers that are like heart and mind into the technology. They were implementing this. They were introducing new components, new tools, new upgrades, whatsoever. And that led that the overhead that organizations, teams have to spend on managing this have increased. And suddenly organizations start to realize, hey, we need like almost a separate team that is going only to make sure that our platform is running. And running is like a quote unquote, right? It's plumbing, it's never ending, plumbing, fixing, scratching, all of that. Perfect. Yeah, because then the dependency management, all of that, and finally, who is responsible? Oh, that guy that just left our company. So documentation, never heard of.
Typical. Perfect. Thank you. Michał, anything to add?
Yeah, nothing
All's
to
been
add.
said. Yeah, perfect. So actually, you guys mentioned teams, and the next question I want to ask you is about those cross-functional teams, and how does CI CD impact the collaboration and communication within an organization?
Earlier,
go for it, Michał.
I'm going to pass.
Okay. Earlier, those teams they were separated, so we can like divide them to developers, so the people responsible for the code itself. And operations, so the part that is responsible for keeping those platforms that Szymon was mentioned.
Yeah.
And there was a problem with communication between them because developers, they did their job in their place and then move it later, the stuff to operations, which they have to deploy it somehow to keep it the code and deploy to platform and make it that it's running smoothly. And everything was so distinct that it failed a lot, many times. So it was difficult to have this reliable solution. And DevOps is working with that because it's building a framework to make it much more smooth.
To enable that collaboration.
Yes. And it's an automated.
Okay.
So this is the integration way and deployment.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. Simon, anything to add?
No.
Nice definition. Thank you, Michał. Fantastic. So you mentioned previously you want to talk about technologies, and this is the time we'll talk about technologies. And CI CD being the concept of methodology, way of thinking, but are there any particular technologies associated with CI CD?
Instantly you go with Jenkins because I think it's going to be
legacy.
It is, but this is how it entered the market, right? So how I see this is that you couldn't find a company 10 years ago that wasn't either starting to work with Jenkins or was it full on the Jenkins already, right? With all of the associated problems, how to scale, how to ensure the performance, right? How to introduce some role-based access control, some identity providers and things like that, right? So those were the typical. So I would say that was the first, the tool that would come to my mind when I would say
talking about Jenkins, right? And did you, Michał, just said that it's legacy? Because and here's why I'm sort of asking, because I remember from back in the day when I was recruiting back in the UK when we were looking for DevOps engineers, like Jenkins was like must have. It was like a key technology.
Was it a decade ago?
It was a while back, yeah. And it was just a must have technology to have. So I'm assuming being a legacy has been replaced, right, or evolved into something different.
Yes, about the Jenkins, there are some benefits, but years ago that you can host it by yourself and You can extend it, use many plugins and so on. But with that comes some issues. You have to have those plugins updated, and you have many different conflicts between them and so on. And it's difficult to implement pipelines, much more than the current tools that are being used, like GitHub Actions, which is hosted by GitHub on their workloads, and you can use it. You don't have to configure anything. You are using it, and that's it. And the definition of pipelines, so the flows that you describe, how the deployment and integration works, it's very easy, straightforward.
Yeah, so this is, I think, links to the fact that what I have said in the beginning, right? That there was this idea of do-it-yourself DevOps when you were getting a lot of fun of building those kind of Lego sets on your own, right? Making things work somehow. Being ugly, but also working to some degree, right? But it worked, right? So that was something that was satisfied a lot of the implementations and the customers a decade ago. Now, I think a lot of the organizations have understood that the cost and the overheads associated to maintain and keep the lights on is really problematic, right? So this is, I would say, that the reason why at least the bigger companies, specifically the enterprises, when I would say that they are slowly, depends from the vertical, of course, but they are moving away from Jenkins per se, and they are moving either to like a GitHub, Azure DevOps, GitHub. So this is because they are the purpose is not to build a tool, because hey, it have to serve a purpose, right? So it is a tool. It is a tool. Let's not forget it. There's no beauty in tool. Okay, maybe there are some, but it have a purpose, right? And the purpose is not to building the tool itself, right?
Okay, perfect. And guys, you actually mentioned a couple of times, or even 3-4 pipelines, right? And actually, next couple of questions, I wanted to maybe dig into the concept of pipelines and how do CI/CD pipelines contribute to faster delivery, of software products. You briefly touched on it.
Okay, so the pipeline is actually a description. So when you go, I don't know, to the store and you want to buy something, and you have your venues and you have to go left, right, and so on. So you can build a description of this, how you want to go in the store, and what do you want to buy. And this is actually a pipeline for your integration and deployment. You describe those steps. I have to go to the left. I have to go to the right. Yeah. Now I want to pick up this. I want to leave it here, and I want to pay it after.
It's you can like also use, for example, like a railway example, right? You're getting into the train, right? You want to move from A to B. You're going to visit those stations. You can enter for another one. You can leave the train here. You can wait for another train, right? So there are multiple ones happening, right? But in the essence, like it's a descriptive way, what have to be done, right? And the idea is also to have this repeatable, right? So think about the patterns that you are having.
Okay,
that would be it.
All right.
The example of a pipeline, not being IT pipeline or CI/CD pipeline would be, for example, how the car mechanics in Formula One, how they are changing the tires. So this is a pipeline.
Okay, a series of actions.
Yes,
one after another to complete the task.
Exactly that. Right, and you see the efficiency of that, right? Because they are doing the sub-seconds actually, right?
I was just about to ask about how the pipelines, this concept improve the quality of software productions.
Shift left.
Or does it?
It depends about. It depends on how actually the pipelines and the CI/CD was implemented, because we are looking from the perspective how we can do this and implement this and operate from the proper way, right? But also there are some horror stories, right? That, for example, each team is building their own, right? And hey, I'm building pipeline for my own to, I don't know, update something whatsoever, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that it is the only way to do so. However, when you start with, I don't know, like a blank piece of paper, right? And you write it down, what do you want to achieve? How would your design and strategy of usage would look like? Like, for example, how you're going to the role segregations, what kind of the stages you would to introduce, right? So, and what kind of a granularity you would like to introduce, right? So this is also something that contributes, right? The smaller you build, the easier it is to make it faster, simpler, and that, right? But in general, once again, circling back to the beginning, right? So because this is a repeatable, right? So it's easy to to automate it and make it like a quite error-less, I would say, right? Or reduce it at least a lot, right?
I would highlight two pillars of the quality. Right. First one, this is fail fast. So it means that we want to get the information about the error that you said as soon as possible, or on the earlier stage.
Okay, so then you
even
can react
when the pipeline starts on the development stage. Yeah, so the developer is doing something and he failed fast, and this is good because we know that we have to fix something and not at the end. Yeah. And this is connected to the concept with shift left. So we move everything from the end to the left about the security and the testing.
And that means that by moving or shifting to left, we move the responsibilities closer to the keyboard, which means that, for example, in the old times when you had the security teams, they were separate ones, right? We still have the security teams, but their responsibilities have also changed, right? So now there's this expectation that the developers teams are to some degree also ownership of the security, right? This is the reason why we have in the pipelines, we have the security testing as well implemented, right? We can have tools, multiple of those actually, that will allow us to conduct the static code analysis, dynamic one as well, right? To find some vulnerabilities. So this is something that naturally back in the days was responsible of someone else, and the whole concept of shift left is actually bringing the ownership and responsibility closer to the development, because in reality they are responsible. They are capable of quickly adjusting and fixing that, right? Because in the past, when somebody have released the software, and it ended up on the security team that said, 6 months after the development, said, okay, this is not secure because we don't like this. Well, maybe it's not about liking or not, but okay, we are seeing issues here, issues there, and issues there. And guess what happened with the development team? They are already on the other project. So who's going to fix that, right? Okay. And in the end, somebody is responsible for that, right? So also this is from the fixing perspective a problematic issue, because then you have a large backlog of vulnerabilities that you cannot quickly address.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Makes sense. Perfect. Thank you. All right, guys, if we're done with pipelines, we're moving to, I would say, one of my favorite topics, which is AI. A favorite topics for everyone these days. I know. It's controversial.
Can we insert memes or GIFs?
Yes, definitely. Let's do this. You have to quote them, though. But
so you imagine this old guy, right? Like, oof.
Oof. Rather, all right. AI, guys, AI. So everything is buzzing around AI, right? But does it actually play any role, or maybe will it play any role in CI CD or development?
Yeah, it's me, Simon.
Go for it, Mike.
Because I am preparing also to Medellin presentation. I will be talking about AI there,
nice,
as well, and how it will impact on our jobs as well.
We will be able to watch it externally.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I will check it. I will check it.
We'll ask for the recording.
We'll ask for the recording. Fantastic.
I will put the phone and I will record myself.
Oh, yeah. Go for it. Great.
So I would say right now, if you ask me if it's doing something right now, no. It's not interfering DevOps at all. Maybe not at all, because people, they are using AI tools to support their jobs. But I would say it's slower down than helping them. But in the future, I see some future perspective on that. AI can help us.
Okay. And the presentation that you're doing is on the future of DevOps in relation to AI.
The main question is a little catchy, because it's if the AI will replace us, actually. So if we will be obsolete and
okay.
I don't know if you want to know the spoiler right now.
Well, I was just about to ask if you can actually shed some light, if you can tell us slightly more about this presentation, or maybe this concept of how this will impact, how this AI might impact in this particular conversation, DevOps or CI CD concepts.
I see that in the short-term future, 10, 15 years, we will be building AI pipelines. So something that will be self-aware and it will be possible to do something without our attention. So fixing themselves. So if we build some pipeline that requires some adoption later, AI can improve it without our attention.
So would it be autonomous then? So without any...
Yes, not fully in those 10, 15 years, but at some point, yes.
Okay. Shall we be scared or it's all good?
I mean, this shed some light that reduction and so on. We should adapt.
No, do you know what? And here's my take on this. AI, yes, it will replace something or some people, some jobs. But at the same time, with every technology breakthrough, there comes evolution of jobs, evolution of responsibilities. So there will be something new that will come even within DevOps or CI CD space. That will once AI comes in, it will be created, right? So we just have to evolve.
I think the same was with previous, like the history that developers maybe started to think, okay, when we implement DevOps, if we are still irrelevant, or maybe DevOps guys took everything.
But I think I'm going to disagree a little bit with that because what we are seeing was actually a gradual evolution, and I think that if we will take the different stance, different posts, that okay, this is a revolution, not an evolution, right? So the way how I see it is that if you wanted to enter the software development like a decade ago, right? So you need to learn a language, you need to become familiar with the frameworks, right? But now with each of the evolutions/revolutions, the entry point is increasing so much that even with the support of the different AI tools, the entry point is increasing, right? So the way how I see it is that actually the workforce and the experts, the SMEs, they are going to be more and more in price. Thinking about the cost, right? That's one of the examples. Even talking about the CI CD, for example, a tool set, right, and the platforms, right? So I think it's a fact as of now that, for example, if you would like to build something that was mimicking what the GitLab is right now doing, how many people you would need to do this? And could you actually still do this? Because I doubt it a little bit, right? So the resource needs, not only from the cost and the people perspective, this is increasing, right? So this is my naysayer take.
Okay, so
but
revolution.
But I will share some lights for that. The question is in general interesting because if you would ask how Gen AI and AI in general, okay, I have just invented a pun, apparently, how it impacts the software development. So it helps greatly. Does it do the same with the DevOps, as a connector between the realities? Not so much, because even I think we had yesterday, the benefits, the drawbacks of utilizing, for example, Copilot, how helpful it is or how challenging it is, right? Because we are yet to go into the point when those tools, those technologies will say, you know what, I don't know, go check it yourself, right? Because they will never, they are currently not doing this, and they are making documentations on the fly, apparently, that you try to search for, right? So after some retries, you're losing hope for that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to kind of steer clear from commenting about Copilot because I'm using it right now. And
but it is Microsoft one, right?
I know, it is.
I expected more, actually.
Me too.
They were advertising this like you will not have to make presentations anymore, right? And then you go enter, you put it.
Yeah, you still do.
Hey, this is the design you can use. That's all I can do for you.
you know Sam Altman from OpenAI. So recently he told, I will quote, I think that ChatGPT, the current one, the ChatGPT 4, is dumb. I mean, he is he thinks that he's very sad that we have to use it, and he wants to give us AGI. which is general artificial intelligence, global intelligence. And for him, ChatGPT is very dumb and it's not useful at all.
There is one problem with the guy. So he is currently, and again, apologies, private opinion, not the corporate one. But he's on the run for investments to build up, right?
Of course,
so sadly, they are building this like a narrative story, how it's going to be revolutionary, yada yada yada. Get some investors, get something nice on board, get the hype on rolling, right? So this is something that we have seen in 𝐴𝐵 in the past, right? For example, like Tesla, SpaceX, right? They were all like this, also building like expectations,
up.
right? So this is the reason why I'm struggling with like such statements like him, because I know that he's looking for a funding, right, from different sources. He is opinionated, right? He have a lot of the contribution to it, right? But I cannot accept his voice right now as being objective.
But I about the one part I trust him that it's a dummy tool right now.
It is.
You have to fix it many times to make it useful. So you're spending more time for the research.
Actually, it was really fun and sad to see how the outcomes were depreciating in less than a week's.
Yes,
So,
because of the resources they
the resources, the language, the base that's being used to learn, right? And how actually users asking unfortunate questions, let's call it like that, how they are contributing to being the models being the more and more dumber, let's call it like this.
Okay. So just to protect ourselves, just in case he's watching this or listening, we're not.
I would buy your stock, but you're not going to stock, right?
I'll buy a stock as well. Yeah. No. Thank you for ChatGPT. I mean, it definitely helped me. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Fantastic. Okay, so not much to be afraid of with AI right now when it comes to replacing us in DevOps or CI CD space. Maybe in 10, 15 years, something will change, will impact how we collaborate. You mentioned tooling, right? This might change how this is implemented.
This is also interesting, right? Because there are already some companies that are kind of on the opposite side of the pendulum, right? Like we had this shift, like microservices, all of that stuff, small parts, small moving bits, right? But again, at some point in time, organization tends to realize that the effort of managing multiple teams, making them work together, and does, for example, Netflix need 10 updates of UI a day? Do they need that? Do they need it once a year even? So for example, I've seen and I've read some about some resources already that there are companies that are moving back to monoliths because it makes much more sense for them, right? So. Not saying that it kills the idea of the CI CD, but shows you, how over-engineering also that the IT have in its root, how it can adjust, right?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Netflix doesn't need this, but Disney Plus could use an update.
I'm not sure if I agree with that.
Okay.
I have some different opinion.
Yeah, go on.
Good. Good. We like different opinions.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, they have microservices because they are, thanks to this, they are reliable. So if something fails, it's a small part. So it's fine. Yeah. Okay. And second part, they changing their UI so frequently because they make the data analysis. So where do you click? Where do you watch? And everything. So they want to adapt quickly to give you more content.
Fully agree on that, but it depends on what is the end product. For Netflix, the end products are streaming services, so they want to have the best user experience out of there, right? However, if you are, supplying software for automotive industry, right? That you have one assembly plant, that you have one template.
Completely agree.
It still needs metadata, right? And it will benefit because I know that, for example, on the assembly line, even the tools are connected to the Ethernet cables, right? But it really depends on the use cases, right? And I think that one size doesn't fit here all.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's not going to fit every solution or every organization. Yeah, definitely. Okay, guys. Well, let's leave AI behind. We're safe for now. But
You
still,
started that, man.
But still, no, honestly, I love this topic because
We solved that issue. I don't have to fly to Medellin. Huh?
Oh yeah, there you go. You just send this recording and you're
You don't
done.
want to go there, man.
No, I won. I won.
No,
of
no,
course.
come
That was a
on.
joke,
Yeah,
obviously.
come on. I'd love to.
There's camera. You have to tell.
Yeah.
That
Joke.
was a joke.
Okay.
Good. But so leaving AI behind, we're still going to focus a bit about the future and maybe just about what's coming, right? Looking ahead about CI CD. There's different, obviously, questions we can ask about the future, but, do you see any changes coming for this? Because obviously in technology, things change quickly, rapidly. Maybe CI CD will be replaced with something else, but do you see any emerging trends that, anticipate the shape of the future?
From my perspective, I will try to speak in like the organizations wise. I think that the Jenkins and Jenkins alike solutions days are over. Mm-hmm. Sooner or later, all of the companies will have to go to out of the box functionalities because it will solve like 95% of their issues, and the justification for the remaining 5 is just not there.
Okay.
The challenge that I see with that is because we are talking features, right? So you are actually buying a car. You're not building your car on your own, right? The challenge that I would see here is that the pricing aspect of such. If you are delivering a software, you're getting all of the revenue from that. That's feasible. However, if your organization is more like a support, then justification of such large expenses, because they are not small. For example, that you are paying monthly per user, right? That uses it. It's not that easy, right? So that might, from the competence development, from the market development, can lead us into two streams. So those, I think you've seen those, marathon runners, right? So average marathon runner is okay, first time doer, right? Yeah. But there's this team of the guys that are nailing all of the marathons, on a daily basis, right? Yeah. So I think that this is somehow how the end user customer base will look like for the CI CD. Okay. It's going to professionalize from the tool set. Professionalization means costs as well.
All right.
And the business and the SMEs will have to justify, why I need to pay that much for that? How do I use that?
Okay.
So that is
from business perspective, I was about to ask, it will increase the cost of running this methodology.
It's
potentially.
It is double-edged sword, I would say, right? Because, like I said, if you're developing software, if you're getting revenue on the software, that's a no-brainer. Your cost structure will either way will be like 80 to 90% being salary cost for the people, right? But if you are working in not ISV but something else, for example, I don't know, like the energy industry, right? Okay, energy industry is really nice for that because, for example, how often you need to change a software for oil wells on the oceans or stuff like that, right? When the security aspects it's working, don't touch it, don't break it, right? You don't need this, right? So this also shows you that depending on the industries, there's going to be like a specialization happening. And now I thinking about it loud is that, it's going to also be interesting from the workforce perspective, because I can imagine that, for example, in future, if those tools will be kind of mainstream / niche, because they're going to be expensive. Yeah. So not all of them will have the experience with them, right? So once again, specialization, complexity.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
Should I say something positive?
No, it's fine. I'll circle back to this because I want to ask you guys another question about recruitment and career and stuff. So specialization, I'll come back to this. But Michael, maybe you have some future telling oracle.
I mean, about the CI CD, the concept will not change. I don't see it. But a few years ago, we already talked about the DevOps. But a few years ago, the market introduced something called platform engineering. So this is something the extension of DevOps. Mm-hmm. So we are not building a small part of the CI CD, but we build a platform that's serving the whole functionality. So when someone wants to immediately, let's say startup, to go with the product and focus only on the development, then they can get the platform already built in with everything what you need. And this is platform engineering, and this is the future and the present, I think.
Yeah. Is this something to do with no code or low code?
No,
we're not talking about this.
No.
All right, okay.
No, this is not RPA. You know how the low code appeared?
No.
The RPA failed.
Oh.
Sorry, hope that nobody is watching this from the RPA team. Hi.
No, they
We
will.
can cut it off.
We'll share this.
I didn't mean that, guys.
Thank you. So, I mean, we're safe with CI/CD for the future, right? So now I can circle back to the topic. It's coming, like, I guess, from a recruitment background. Sorry, do you want to say something?
Yeah. So what I would say is that and the platform engineering aspect is also interesting because that will drive. Sorry, not force, but drive. On the wording perspective,
That's
is
the
that there is going to be a bigger emphasis on how to design it properly to act like that, right? So in the past, when all of the teams, they were building their pipelines, they CI/CD on their own, right? For the internal purposes, now they are going to have to work with each other, right? So it's funny because I would say that CI/CD was aimed to kind of shake the silos a little bit, but now with this platform engineering, I can imagine that the platform itself is going to be like a crucible to some degree, right? They are going to connect, so they are going to establish the how it was in English, best denominator, let's call it like this, right? When they will be providing the basic functionalities that are going to be standardized across the company. Yeah. And then you are going to have a separate team that is responsible for developing the platform, and then you are going to have developer teams just using that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Silos again.
Silos. And if I may, being a non-technical, I fully agree with you, Michael, about CI/CD not going anywhere, because simply, if you think about it, like continuous integration, continuous development or deployment, this is very much a common sense, like logical way of doing things in order to like continuously improve. Like, so, I mean, why would you replace it with something else? Like we had waterfall, now we have agile.
Absolutely. You need to, I don't know, redesign your thinking, and if you don't want to develop, so what's other thing? Yeah. So those blocks are already there, and it will be difficult to replace them.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Guys, so now I can go back to my question, which I started asking. Again, from my background being in the recruitment industry, maybe we can touch on the topic of, some of those, career advices, or like how to get into DevOps or CI/CD space. Because you mentioned Jenkins, as I said, for me back in the day, Jenkins was like must have. So is there anything like any certifications or anything in particular that you would, advise, young people or people?
I should not start from it's right now in current times. It's very difficult to start with DevOps role.
Oh, you need to progress through different.
Yeah.
No, the entry point.
Yeah,
the entry point.
Yeah.
It's super hard actually to go into there, right? Because even if we would start giving advice, okay, there is a nice certification. Well, not being like certificates themselves won't solve anything. They are nice, like light torches that you go through.
Yeah,
that's the good way, right? That's some learning path, I would say. However, like when you're thinking about the DevOps, right? So the CI/CD aspect, it's like going to be 10 to 15%. You still need to be capable of writing, not even basic, but like a medium/average in Python as of now. It's very often not only Python, but we had a person that wrote some kind of a bash scripts as well. So it's nice to have bash as well. Mandatory, of course, because it's Python and bash. Now you can also have Linux knowledge for that one. And ideally, if you had some kind of databases, not to mention microservices and two clouds, right? So this is maybe not my struggle, but I don't want to say that I'm feeling sorry for the people getting into the industry, but it's tough. It's tough, right? The expectations are increasing from the day to day, right? So it's really like hard to find this many companies that are interested in, we'll get you with the knowledge that you have, invest from like a 1 to 2 year perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So think about it like that.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, it's always best, especially with DevOps, because it's, well, again, methodology, not technology, right? It's always best to come from development background, being that you're a Python developer.
Not exactly.
It's infrastructure.
Oh, well, actually, we have some,
Yeah.
in our ranks, we have some developers, ex-developers that are now DevOps, and also we have some kind of infra guys that are DevOps, right? And the clash, clash of the two sides, right? For example, that I'm laughing. Sorry, guys, from the development, nothing personal. But the idea that, okay, it always worked locally, right? Because you never have to touch the networking and the security. So locally everything works. But when you have to introduce some kind of a security roles, right? Opening everything up is not allowed, right? So this is actually how you can mess up quite a lot of things, right? So in not being familiar with the operations aspect, not being familiar with the security concepts, specifically on the cloud, right? Because this is changing from what it used to be. If you have an old school data center networking kind of knowledge, that's nice because that gives you a basis at least, right? So you know that you can do this, and that, right? But this is on the networking layer. But when you're doing on resource layers, right? So that's totally different, right? And how to make sure that by one silly mistake or one simple silly click, you are not opening, for example, half the connectivity to the internet, right? So, and how you can expect that from a junior?
Yeah,
from a college graduate.
Oh, you can't. You need to go through a practice.
And again, right? So this is this professionalization of the industry that. And I have to say something positive. It's nice.
Well, I would say that yes, the learning curve is quite steep.
Yeah.
And if someone asked me what I have to do to be a DevOps guy, I can recommend the same that I recommended to my colleague a few years ago, that he wanted to start with the programming. And I recommended him first pick some topic, try to design a project. Of course, with one language is easier, but you can do it with DevOps.
Yeah. So with the DevOps, it's like when you're asking from the recruitment perspective, right? So asking people about the DevOps is like asking them to run if they don't know how to walk. This is it, right? So they need to know this, right? So for example, okay, learn one of the programming languages. Try to write one application locally, even, right? Yeah. Don't go into the CI CD yet, right? But
Small
have
steps,
this concept. Yeah.
Small steps.
Yeah, definitely. No, I fully agree. That's why it's not like I understand. I will not become a DevOps tomorrow. Yes. I need to first become, infra or developer. I absolutely appreciate this.
But I would say it's worth it. It's very interesting role.
Yeah. See, this is how we want to end this. Perfect. It's worth it.
I will add something positively. So what is really interesting? Well, because we are the consulting company, right? So it is really nice to see how the knowledge that we have, how the ideas that we have, how we can use those to shape a solution for the customers, right?
Yeah.
That we are not just working with the Excel sheets or whatsoever, but we are actually building something reliable, new, interesting for them, which is super exciting because also we have this opportunity that we are not attached or bound for one particular topic for 5 years.
Yeah.
But we are going to have like 6 topics during a year. So this is super nice because you put your practical knowledge into solving real life solutions, right? And when we are seeing this impact on the customers that we're working with, that is super nice. So that's this is how you can explain to your, for example, friends and family, hey, this is what I have supported, right? This is what I have done, right? Normal question, hey, what you're doing out there for the whole week?
Oh my God, it's I'm not able to explain it to my family.
No chance.
Yeah, but we had this one company that was, I don't know, working with tires for trucks, right, or whatsoever, right? And they were having issues with the monitoring, right?
Yeah.
We solved this for them. That's the difference because now we can relate to that, right? So.
Perfect. Guys, thank you very much then. I appreciate your time. This came to an end. What we've learned, definitely, Simon, that you like automotive. You've gave so many examples from automotive.
I mean, you can explain so many concepts with automotive.
I
right?
agree. I appreciate it.
Broken tire, car not working.
Perfect. Simon, Michael, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing your experience, your knowledge. And for our audience, hope you found this of interest and insightful, and stay curious.